A few years ago, I did write a book called Plant This Instead. Some of you may have that in your gardening library, and if you do, I really appreciate that. The thing about Plant This Instead, though, is that gardening is always changing, and that includes the varieties of plants that are available on the market. Every year, the breeders come out with new, better, improved varieties of things, more unusual plants for those of you who are collectors. So I thought we'd take a quick look at a few things that have come on the market since the book was written. And we'll start back here with some shade garden plants. This is a beautiful new Solomon seal. This particular variety is called Ruby Slippers. These gorgeous red stems. A lot of you may be familiar with the variegated Solomon seal with the green and white leaves. This one obviously is solid green, but those beautiful red stems that stay that way throughout the season. There are some other forms of this, red stemmed, also on the market, so if you can't find Ruby Slippers, you will find some other ones available. In the world of heucheras or coral bells, always improvements coming out in these, especially for southern gardens. When you're looking at coral bells, if you'll find the ones that have the fuzzy leaves, fuzzy on the back, fuzzy on the stems, those have the genetics of some of our native heucheras in them and are much longer lasting in our heat and humidity. This one is called Fire Alarm. Look at that gorgeous color as it leaves out in the spring. And a lot of these are semi-evergreen also, so they'll give you some winter color. This one is not as new, but it is a tried and true performer. This one is called Lime Rickey and has proven itself over the past decade or so here for our southern gardens. Again, heat and humidity tolerant. This beautiful lime green color throughout the season. It doesn't green up in the summertime. It holds that nice chartreuse color really well. In the world of hostas, always new hostas coming on the market, and about 4 or 5 years ago, one of the newest introductions was one called Empress Wu. And Empress Wu grows 4 feet tall and 7 feet across. Even here in the south, it will form a sizable clump. This is a new one called Wu La La with a gold variegated edge around that green leaf. Same size. So if you have a large shade garden and need to fill a big spot with a very impactful plant, that would be a great one. Reach in here and find this epimedium. Epimediums came to the forefront about 15 years ago in perennial gardening, especially for shade. There were very few on the market at that time, and they have just exploded. This one has just finished flowering. It had little spires of pale yellow flowers, but look at this foliage, almost spiny. Terrific texture in the garden, and this gorgeous coppery bronze new growth. Again, semi-evergreen in our climate, and in a mild winter like this past one, completely evergreen. Now we're going to jump to some sun plants here, and there have been great improvements in salvias. Many of you have probably grown black and blue for many, many years. It's been on the market for a long time. This is a newer one called Black and Bloom. This one flowers from the time you buy it in the garden center until a hard freeze late in the fall. It doesn't stop all summer long. The spires are a little more compact. The flowers are closer together. It gives you a bigger show in the garden. Also a favorite hummingbird plant. A lot of us think that red is what attracts hummingbirds, but it actually is the flower shape. Anything with a tubular flower will attract a hummingbird. Also in salvias, a true perennial salvia. This is the latest improvement on the old-fashioned May night. This one is called Blue Marvel. Flowers are about twice the size, a little bit more of a cobalt blue rather than that deep indigo blue of May night, but a terrific perennial. You will have to deadhead this through the summer, but as long as you keep it deadheaded, it will flower for you all summer long. And one more salvia back here in the back, this one called Radio Red. This is a hybrid between some of our sages that are native to the southwestern United States It used to be that these only flowered in the fall. They would grow and grow and grow through the long days of summer, and as the days shortened, they would begin to bloom. Now we have varieties like Radio Red that will flower right through the season. A quick mention about impatiens. We've had some disease problems in impatiens the last few years. These new sun patiens are disease resistant. They will grow in a half day to a full day of sun, and there are both compact and tall varieties. Really fun new annual. This is a low-growing annual sunflower that will grow about 3 feet across, 12 inches tall, and flower from the time you plant it until fall. Quick mention about something in the world of plant breeding. If we look at these two plants very quickly, Million Bells and the old-fashioned petunia. The hybrid between these two plants are these new ones called pet COLEUS. And you can see that the flowers are more the size of a petunia, but in the number of the Million Bells. And these are one of the greatest innovations in plant breeding in the last few years. Coleus are always old-fashioned favorites, new and improved varieties with gorgeous leaf colors and forms, and less flowers, so less pinching. And finally, as we wrap up this segment on new and improved plants, I can't think of anything that is more new and improved, certainly not new, but more improved than the begonia world. And 10 years ago, probably, we came out with dragon wing begonia, which changed the way we can use begonias in the landscape. And in the last couple of years, this new one called canary wings has come out with bright golden yellow foliage and these beautiful red blossoms. This plant needs morning sun and a little bit of shade in the afternoon in our hot climate. But if you're an avid gardener, like all of us on Volunteer Gardener are, there is always something new, beautiful, and improved for your garden.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.